Give it one moment for everyone to come in from the waiting room. Good morning. This is an emergency hearing before the Licensing Board for the City of Boston. Today is Monday, December 4th, 2020. We would ask that all individuals present please turn on your camera as you will need to be sworn in. Today's hearing is being conducted pursuant to certain temporary amendments of the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Again, we would ask that anyone here representing a licensee, please turn on your camera.
Continue, Leslie. Once we get to them, we can deal with that again.
I will first read each item into the record. I will then ask who is here from the licensee entity. I will then ask who is here to testify from the Boston Police Department and whether there are any other individuals present with personal knowledge of the alleged incident. I will then read all information, I will then swear all parties in, after which the police report will be read into the record and the chairwoman and commissioners will have the opportunity to ask any questions of the licensee. Calling Mary Clipper Ship Inc., doing business as Clipper Ship Wine and Spirit, located at 17 Maverick Street. This is a retail all alcoholic package store license. The date of the incident is December 11th, 2020. The incident description: licensee failing to adhere to mandatory COVID-19 guidelines by selling alcoholic beverages after 9:30 p.m. in violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 64, Governor Charles Baker's executive order. For the record, notice of this hearing was delivered in person by the licensed premise unit on December 11th. Is there anyone present from the licensee? I have a Kenny Nugent and someone identified as KC. Are either of these individuals present for the licensee?
Kenny Nugent should be he was the person on duty. I think the owner of the store, so that he's probably there for the licensee.
For the first item or for Barney's Grill?
The first one. It's written in the report.
Yes, ma'am. It's written in the report.
Mr.
Wynn, are you present?
If you could please unmute yourself, sir.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm here.
Could you please turn on your video?
I don't know how you turn into video. Start video. Okay.
Thank you. And Mr. Nugent, you were here with the licensee. Who from the Boston Police Department will be testifying?
I will be.
Detective Hernandez.
Leslie, do you need to swear him in?
We'll swear them both in. I just want to make sure there's no one else present. Is there any other individuals with personal knowledge who are present? Seeing none, Mr. Nugent, Detective Hernandez, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Detective Hernandez, you may proceed with the police report.
Good morning. I'm reading from police report, which I authored. On Friday, December 11, 2020, at about 10:30 p.m., Sergeant Detective William Gallagher and Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned to the licensed premise unit, responded to Clipper Ship Wine and Spirit located at 17 Maverick Square to speak to staff regarding a complaint. The complaint alleged that the establishment, following COVID guidelines by remaining open after the mandatory 9:30 p.m. closing time and allowing customers to purchase alcoholic beverages. While parked by the front door, detectives noticed the customers walking into the liquor store. Detectives walked inside, confirmed that the individual was a customer, and escorted him out. Detectives brought this to the attention of the person in charge, Mr. Kenny Nugent. Detectives reiterated the importance of the governor's and Boston's licensing board advisory on the prohibition of having customers inside a licensed premise after the mandatory 9:30 p.m. closing time. It should be noted that while detectives were inside speaking to Mr. Nugent, multiple customers came to the door looking to gain access into the store. One customer explained to Detective Hernandez that there must be a mistake because the store is always open until 11 p.m. As a result of what detectives observed, Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued license premise inspection notice 005467 for premise open after the mandatory 9:30 p.m. closing time. Mr. Nugent signed for and accepted the notice. A copy of the complaint was also provided to Mr. Nugent. Those are essentially the facts.
Thank you, Detective. Mr. Nugent, would you like to make a brief statement before the chairwoman and commissioners have the opportunity to ask you questions?
No, he was right, but I don't think I was open every day at 11 o'clock. It was only that Friday, so Saturday, but not every day. It wasn't for sure. Yep. I'm here. Yep. Yep.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you tell me how to pronounce your last name?
Win.
Wynn. Okay. So, Mr. Wynn, you were there on December 11th?
That is correct.
Okay. What else do you sell besides alcohol?
Just that.
Okay. Do you understand that on November 2nd, the governor announced that you cannot sell alcohol after 9:30 and you need to have all customers out by 10?
I understand.
And that went into effect. Do you know when that went into effect?
I think it was a month.
Yeah, November 6th.
Okay.
Okay. So what happened on Friday night?
You know
Were
what?
you working?
I was working, and I'm not denying it.
Okay.
It's just that my business, is heavily dependent on the alcohol, and my business dropped 30%. I'm behind on my city taxes. I can't run a business from 9 to 5. It's empty. And I'm struggling to pay my city taxes. I'm behind that bill. I'm trying to do everything to try to keep my employee intact because I don't have the fund to keep these employees. I mean, if that's the case, I'll have to fire everybody and just work by the business by myself.
Okay, we really do appreciate how difficult this is for small businesses. The board appreciates it. The city appreciates it. We do understand that. My duty is to enforce the rules and regulations of the governor,
Mhm.
the mayor, and the board. So we sent out an advisory helping you understand what went into effect on November 6th.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Should this board find a violation of what happened on Friday night of you selling alcohol beyond 9:30, you will be issued a warning.
Okay.
If you receive another warning,
Mm-hmm.
you are risking the indefinite suspension of your license.
I understand.
Do you have any questions for the board right now?
I don't. I just apologize, but it's difficult. It's really hard running a business. I have
I
a
know.
baby coming along. I have 4 kids I need to take care. My business heavily depends on the last minute, and it's very difficult. Honestly.
I think you should. I think the operators are doing the best they can. I think you should work with your customers and tell them that you have to close so they can get in there earlier.
Like
They need to do their part too. So I'm sorry. I think you need to work with your customer base to let them know that the hours have changed.
I think honestly, I don't think my business dropped a lot. I mean, I don't really understand why the convenience store can stay to 9. I mean, they still congregate.
They can't sell alcohol past 9:30. They can sell chips and other things. So I think you should work on some communications with your client base. Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
Okay. I do though. It won't happen again. I just
Okay.
I understand. I appreciate it though.
If you need help with communicating to your customers, we have some signs that you can print off and affix to the outdoor of your thing. They should know that you have to close.
Okay.
They can do their part to support you earlier.
I would appreciate it. Okay.
No
Commissioner
questions.
Curran, Commissioner Saxon.
No questions, thank you.
Just kind of a second, sir. If your customers know that they're going to be shut out at 9:30, I think you'll see that they'll start coming earlier.
Yeah.
I think that you perceive that they're coming later because they don't think that you're going to be closed.
No, it's just that sometimes these people, my customer at previous, all these, they work the mid shift. So I'm losing that mid shift from 9:30 is a huge boost for me. I mean, but I understand, what we try to protect everybody, but it won't happen again. And I apologize for that.
Thank you, and thank you for appearing before us today. Detective, do you have any comments or questions beyond what we've discussed today?
Well, it seemed like most of his business was coming from the T, which is right across the street. So they were coming right out of the T, coming right over. So I think he just needs to just maybe put something out there, just let them know that they can't just come over. And it was like a rush of people after every train or bus stop. They would just come right over.
I appreciate how difficult this is for you, but we have to enforce the rules and regulations.
Okay, I mean, I wish it won't happen again. It's my job, and I'll take responsibility for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving to item 2, calling Cardona's Inc., doing business as Barney's Grill, located at 299 Havre Street. The license type is a CV 7-day all alcoholic beverages license. The date of the incident is December 11th, 2020. Licensee failing to adhere to mandatory COVID-19 guidelines by allowing patrons to remain at the licensed premise after 10 p.m. for on-premise consumption of alcoholic beverages in violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Governor Charles Baker's executive order. For the record, notice of today's hearing was hand-delivered by the licensed premise unit on December 11th. Is there anyone present for the applicant or licensee?
Yes, I am.
Could you please state your name from the record, and could you please unmute yourself? I'm sorry, turn on your video.
Oh, how do I do that? How do I do that?
Mr. White,
Can you see me?
We
Hello?
can't see you. We can't see you, Mr. Cardona.
What do I push? It's my first time doing this.
Okay. Are you on a telephone or a computer?
I'm on the computer.
Okay, in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, it should say start video.
Oh my God.
Take your time.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm really sorry.
Okay, we'll continue.
Try the Alt button and V.
What was that, Liam?
Alt V.
Alt.
Good.
There you go.
There you go.
Good morning,
Thank
Madam
you very
Chairman.
much.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name for the record, sir?
My name is Kilder A. Cardona, owner and manager of Barney's Grill.
Thank you. And who from the Boston Police Department will be testifying? Detective Hernandez?
I will be.
Detective Hernandez has already been sworn in. Mr. Cardona, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Detective Hernandez, you can proceed with the police report.
Good morning again. I'll be reading from a police report which I authored. On Friday, December 11, 2020, at about 10:45 p.m., Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned to the licensed premise unit, responded to Barney's, located at 299 Harv Street, to speak to staff regarding a complaint. The complaint alleged that the establishment was not following COVID guidelines by remaining open after the mandatory 10 p.m. closing time. While walking up to the front door, detectives could hear loud music coming from inside the establishment. When detectives tried to gain entrance into the premise, they discovered that the front door was locked. Detectives knocked on the locked door, and the music was immediately shut off. After a long delay, the owner, Mr. Kilder Cardona, came to the door. Mr. Cardona stated there was no one else was inside with him and that he was cleaning up. Detectives observed multiple glasses of alcoholic beverages, cell phones, and jackets at the tables. Detectives asked where the rest of the people were, and Mr. Cardona remained silent. Since Mr. Cardona remained silent, and out of concern for everyone's safety, Detective Hernandez conducted a protective sweep of the establishment. Detective Hernandez found a group of about 7 employees/patrons hiding in a dark basement storage room. Detectives reiterated the importance of the Governor and Boston Licensing Board advisory on the prohibition of having patrons/employees inside licensed premise after the mandatory 10 p.m. closing time. Detectives brought this to the attention of the person in charge, Mr. Kilder Cardona. As a result of what detectives observed, Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued a licensed premise inspection notice 005468 for 8 employees/persons on premise drinking alcohol after the mandatory 10 p.m. closing. Mr. Cardona signed for and accepted the notice. That is essentially the facts.
Thank you, Detective. Mr. Cardona, would you like to respond?
Just Madam Chairman, each and every person that was there, except for my wife, were employees. We were actually discussing the cutting of days and the hours for the holidays because we're really hurting. It was the cook, 2 bartenders, and 3 waitresses that were here, and we were discussing there was no patrons. We were just talking about how are we gonna do with this crisis because it's been hurting us. I'm the type of business that I didn't get any help, I didn't get any grants, and I could show you my electric bills, $8,000 and all that. So we weren't planning or selling or weren't doing anything wrong. I mean, maybe on my behalf, I was having a beer, but we were talking more on the personal lives of my employees, how to cut days for Christmas, who's gonna work, who's not gonna work. All of the 6 other people that were here are my employees, Madam Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cardona. I know this is very difficult for you and your staff. I understand, especially around Christmas time, but you have to understand the responsibility I have, and that is to enforce the rules and regulations, especially during this public health crisis. As far as the COVID regulations, you're going to have to. You're going to have to schedule staff meetings before 10 p.m. Okay? There's going to be no exceptions made for this. Should you be found in violation of the rules and regulations of the board or any other COVID violation, you will be issued a warning. Should you have another warning, you are facing the indefinite suspension of your license.
Madam Chairman, I haven't been in front of this board in over 10 or 11 years.
Okay.
I try to keep everything legit and to the best, to comply with everything.
One of the reasons we have these Monday morning hearings now is to make sure that the licensees understand the rules and regulations, because they are changing quickly and they're changing often. Do you understand, or do you have any questions about the rules and regulations?
No, not as far as that. Maybe I was a little naive. I hear that other people got grants and got help from the state or the city. I never got that help. Maybe.
Why don't you contact our office and we'll put you in touch with the Office of Economic Development. It doesn't come out of our office, but please reach out to the board and we'll put you in touch.
All right, okay.
Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions, or Commissioner Curran?
Did I hear from the facts that you were in the closet? Is that what happened?
No. We were just sitting here discussing the new hours, like I said, and what days, because there's days that I don't need not even 2 or 3 employees. My sales have gone down. I want to say like more than 50%.
And I'm going to reiterate, you and your staff cannot be drinking on the premise after hours.
Sure.
You can't be on the premise.
I understand that.
This board may have been flexible up until now. This board is not going to be flexible moving forward. There's no flexibility.
I understand.
Detective Hernandez, would you like to add more?
Yes, we were there because they were given a warning the prior weekend, because they were still partying the prior weekend. They were told not that they had to be closed. And when we did speak to Mr. Cardona that night, they were not hanging out there discussing anything about any of the business. These people, they made me go down the stairs, dark stairwell, right down into your basement. I couldn't even see anything down there. Could have fell down those stairs, right? Because it's dark back there. You wouldn't tell us there was anybody in there. And we found people hiding in they were like hiding behind all sorts of equipment in a dark room, right? So I had to go down there and have to find these people and bring them upstairs, correct? And you guys were all drinking. You were drinking too, correct? I didn't write that in the report, correct?
I was having a beer. I admit it.
Yeah, I know. You're having more than one, right? Okay.
So we're not disputing Detective Hernandez's facts. I'd like to reiterate, you're putting our detectives at risk with your behavior. They shouldn't have to be going into an establishment after
I understand that, ma'am.
2 weekends in a row. Okay.
I mean, Hispanics are afraid when sometimes Hispanics are very afraid. I don't mean to create a profile, but when someone knocks on the door hard, and some of these people, maybe they're legal, they're not legal, they tend to hide. I mean, okay. I didn't invent that.
I suggest you reach out to our office about the grants. They are being given out by the city. It has nothing to do with this board. The city's offered help to lots of small businesses in the same position as you, but today we are discussing violation of the governor's and the mayor's rules and regulations regarding the COVID regulations. So we're going to focus on that.
Thank you.
All right. No further questions from me.
From me, thank you.
Seeing no further questions, there are no additional agenda items before the board today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a